Hi guys, it's Leslie with Leslie's Creations, and I am going to do a cute little tutorial for you tonight on Chalk Couture. And I'm just looking for my video so I can see comments. Let's see if it'll come up. I'm going to use a I guess kind of in a way kind of a summer fallish transfer, because there we go. You can use this kind of anywhere. Hey Brenda. Let's see here, get this. Okay, so this is our Say Yes to Adventures transfer, and it is a C size transfer, so it's 12 by 18. And I'm going to use it on our Greyson board, and it is a layered transfer. You can see it has several parts for the little moped, but I'm going to use this on our Greyson board, and the colors I'm going to use tonight are going to be Bark, Greige, let me turn them this way so you can see, White, Bumblebee, whoops, as I drop my white, and this is actually a retired one, but I thought it was so cute, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. Parakeet. So, as I drop them all, sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to use the Parakeet and the Bumblebee for the flowers. I'm going to use the Bark for the little holder in the back of the moped, and the Greige and the White for actually the moped, and the White for the words. So you'll know how I'm going to do this. Now, I also have my my Sharpie to write on the back of it, and my transfer trimmers, along with my little bucket of goodies here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out some stir sticks and some squeegees. And if y'all follow me, y'all know that I love the mini squeegees. You can use whichever one. We do have the bigger squeegees that you can use. We have multi-tools. We have different ones that you can use, but my go-to is the mini, so I always pull out the mini squeegees. I also have set aside to use my hair dryer, because the layers, you want to kind of dry in between the layers, and some baby wipes to wipe off any thing off my hands, or to clean my tools, or should anything get into a spot I don't want it to be. So those are all the tools and everything that I have for this project. Set that aside. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to start off with our transfer, and as you know, our transfer, they all have lines on them if they're a cut apart transfer. So you're going to cut the transfer across the, hey Kelly, you're going to cut the transfer across the cut line. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these pieces up, and I'm going to try to use all the pieces. I don't know if they'll all fit on this, but I'm going to use as many as I can. So I'm just going to cut apart these, and what I'll do once I get them all cut apart is I will label the backs of them, so I'll know which backer goes with which piece. Because once you take the transfer off of the backer, you want to make sure you get it on the same one, and you get it on the correct side. As soon as I get these cut apart, I'll show you why it's important to do one side over the other. Hopefully everybody's doing well today on this, again, hot day. Okay, one more piece to cut. This cut line's a little light, so trying to find it. Now also with these, you have, when you have multiples, a lot of times they'll have them numbered, like this is A3, this is A2, this is A1. So you would want to do 1, 2, and then 3 on your layers. Okay, so, and the same thing for the flowers. You have 1 and 2, and they have a B on them, so you'll know which one goes with which. Okay, so I'm going to take my Sharpie, and I'm going to write on the back something on the back of the backer sheet just to let me know it goes with what. You don't have to write the whole thing. Some people have even drawn a picture. That's not me. I'm just gonna let's see. I'm just gonna label this with the number here. So let me get these labeled. And then I will show you the difference. Okay, so on our backer sheets, there are two sides, and you can tell the difference. This is kind of a matte finish look, and then the side that the transfer is actually on is a glossy finish. You can see the glossiness here. Hopefully y'all can see that pretty well. You want the transfer to go back on the glossy side, because if you put it on the matte side, it is going to stick really well, and it's going to make it hard to get off the next time. So you want to always make sure you put it on the glossy side, so that's why we want to label the backs when we first use them. So, all right, get these in order so I can do these. And I'm gonna start off with putting my Say Yes to New Adventures on the top of my board. And let me just make sure I have this all wiped off. Nothing on it. I'm also gonna double check and make sure I have it right, because these do have the claw tooth hangers on them. So I'm gonna go ahead and make sure I have this up at the right area. Now, what I'm doing here is I am fuzzing my transfer a little bit. What I'm doing here is making sure that my transfer is not too too sticky, excuse me. So I'm just picking up a little bit of lint with our fuzzing cloth here. This side here is a terry cloth side, and the other side of it is a microfiber for when we're drying them after we've cleaned them. So I'm going to fuzz that up a couple of times just to get it to where it's not going to stick too well to my surface. Although I do want it to stick so it stays in place, but I just don't want it to stick so well that when I pull it up, it could pull up some of my paste underneath it. Now I'm going to just smooth it out nice and smooth here. You want it to be really good and flat down to the surface. So I'm just going to smooth it out real nice. And I'm going to do my words in white. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my white. This is a brand new white that I put the little bit that was left over the other day in my in this jar, so I might have to add some water to it. This here is our fine mist sprayer, and in our fine mist sprayer we have distilled water. You want to use distilled water when you're putting it into your paste to keep your paste from possibly molding or getting any of the chemicals that are in the tap water in it. So distilled water is the best way to go, and this fine mist sprayer just gives a very little, simple, small amount of water at a time. Now if you use that fine mist sprayer and you hold it down, it will have a continuous spray, but if you just pump it once or twice, it gives just a little bit out. So get this all stirred up. What I want to do, you do want your paste if you can. Now this is a brand new jar, so I don't want to stir it too hard. In fact, let me grab my multi-tool, which is also good for mixing up your paste because it has this longer edge. Our stir sticks are a little bit short, but you just kind of work it and incorporate it in. If you can get it to the consistency of like cake batter or yogurt or sour cream, whatever you want to call it, that is good. If it just seems like it's not working into that, but you can tell that it's not a dried out consistency, then you're good to go. Because if it is a little bit, I have some that look kind of, I guess, like cottage cheese. They still work, so you don't have to worry about them. They still work. It's just the consistency is a little bit different. We've had a few pastes that have been a little bit different on when they were produced, so they'll still be okay to use. Now I'm not gonna just kind of get this one incorporated just a little bit more, but I think we're going to be good to go here. Get this tool all cleaned off. Now I am going to go ahead and use my tool here and just kind of spread out some. Oops. Get the extra. Now I'm going to take my mini squeegee, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull all the paste down through this open silkscreen area. So you want to make sure that you get it all covered, and just put all down that open silkscreen area. And these transfers have a fine little silk screen area where you see the opening where you could see the black. That is a fine silk screen area, and the paste is just being pushed down through there. So I'm going to wipe off any excess that I have and put that right back into my jar so that I can use that for another project. And I'm going to go side to side here and just lift up this transfer, lifting it straight up. And there we go. We have our first part of our project done. Now I'm going to step over here real quick and wash off this transfer. You want to make sure that you don't let the paste sit inside on your transfer for too long, because you don't want the silk screen to get clogged up from the paste. The paste can dry on the transfer, and it'll make it harder to get off the longer you leave it on. So I usually like to go ahead right after I use it and clean it. That way I can have it drying and ready to go back into its packaging soon after my project is completed. And that way I can keep the life of my transfer going longer and longer. The company says that these transfers will last anywhere from 8 to 12 uses, but I have some that I have used a lot more than that. Hey, Melissa. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and give this a quick dry. Now I'm going to dry this on cool, and because if you use a hot setting on your hair dryer to dry this, it'll heat your board up. Then you need to kind of let your board get back to room temperature before you use it again. So I'm just using the cool setting on my hair dryer just to get it dried so I can move on to my next part. Okay, so we're going to move on to our little moped, and I'm going to put this like right here, and then I should be able to fit the Let's Get Away down here on the bottom. So I'm going to make sure I get this on here good. Move that water out of the way for a second. Now we're again going to fuzz up our transfer, and go ahead and open up my gray. Go ahead and open up all my other paste, because I'm going to be using all of them on the moped. So go ahead and get those open to get ready. We're going to put this right there. Now, if you can see this on camera, and I'll lift it up here just a second to show you, you'll see on here, hopefully I can get this close enough that you can see it, there's little registration marks here. So if I will paste over those as well, those will show up on my board when I pull my transfer off, and I'll be able to line my next layer up also, because my next layer has the transfer or the little placement marks on it as well. So, okay, I think, trying to decide if I want to do, I think I want to do this layer. Actually, I think I want to do this layer in white now that I'm thinking about it. And then I'm going to do the next layer in the Greige. So I'm going to go ahead and just put some of this down. Now I know this looks a little chunky on this, on the white, but it's really not. It still works okay. It's not the consistency I'm used to, but like I said, it does work. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of some of that because I have way too much. I'm going to grab this all this area down here, and then the box, I'm actually going to do that in bark. I'm going to grab that little placement mark there and get off any excess that I can get off. And grab my bark. And it's going to be way too much for that little spot, so I'll have a lot left over, but that's okay. You can see, you can just put it right back in your jar like I've told you. Right back in that jar and use it for another time. Now go ahead and lift this up. And you can see those placement marks, those are there a little bit. They're not, sometimes I actually paste them and sometimes I don't. I just eyeball it because they help sometimes and sometimes I don't know. So I like them sometimes and sometimes I don't. I guess that's all I can say about them. Sorry, I'm laughing at myself because most of the time I don't use them. It might make it come out better if I do usually, but just a rebel on things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put this transfer down to dry. And then I'm going to, so I have room on my towel here, I'm going to go ahead and take up my other transfer that I did at the beginning that's already dried. And after it sits and dries, you can see it gets sticky again. So, oh yeah, snap, crackle, pop when you open up that new paste. Melissa, that is correct. I think some of our pastes are just have been coming from a different area, and so the consistency of it is off just a little bit than what we're used to. So, but they are well aware of it and are working on the formula. Oh, here, I get this all mixed up, trying to get it back on its backer. Go, get that all smoothed out. All right, now I am going to hit this with a dryer, even though I have let it sit for a second. Still going to make sure that I do have it really good and dry, because once you start layering, the bottom layer that you put down, the next layer you put down, if this bottom layer is not good and dry, the second layer can pull up the color from the bottom layer, and you don't want that to happen. Alright, now I'm going to go to my second layer. And again, you want to fuzz. Now when you're doing this layer here, you don't want to press really, really super hard. You do want to get, hey Erin, you do want to get your paste to go through, but you don't want to like press super duper hard. So let me see if I can get this lined up with my transfer marks, and I may not be able to. I may just, like I said, have to eyeball it. Okay, I think I got that on there. Good. Okay, so gonna do the brown back here for the rest of my box. trying to decide if I want to do my seat, if I want to do it in a color. I think, hey Roger. I don't need this to sit too long, because if it does. Okay, what I'm going to do here is I am going to peel this up just for a second, because I don't want this to sit too long, because I wasn't thinking about the second layer here. So I'm going to set that. There we go. And I think I want to use, I think I want to put yellow for my seat, maybe. What do y'all think? I'm just going to grab another stir stick, because or maybe I'll just do, maybe I will do yellow for my seat. I'm going to put a little bit of brown here for my handlebars. Okay. And I'm going to put some white down here for this part of the wheel, if I can get a hold of it. That ought to be enough for, oh, there it is, for both of the outlines of the wheel. Now, one good thing about this is if you pull this up and you decide, hey, I don't like the way this looks, you can always just wash it off and start over again. So that's the one good thing about Chalk Couture. You can just redo it if you don't like it. Okay, so we're gonna grab this, pull it up. There we go. We have our second layer. And then the final layer of the moped I'm gonna do in Greige. Cleaning off this transfer over here real quick, getting it laid down. Okay, now give myself some more room here. I'm gonna put this transfer back on its backer, just so I have room for my drying, and I'll get that on there straight in a minute. Okay, let me dry this, and I'll get the third layer down. So now, see if I can fuzz this and get this third layer all lined up correctly. We got that right. Now I'm going to use the Greige, put a little more water in this, and get this stirred up good. And like Melissa said, it kind of makes that snap, crackle, pop sound when you go to stir it. Kind of like Rice Krispies. It's kind of cool. Put some of that out. It's probably way too much, but that's okay. The only time you can't save paste is when you do a mixture and you make like a hot mess where you mix several colors together. You don't want to put that back in your jar, because you don't want that to blend with your other colors and possibly mess up and contaminate your colors. So other than that, anytime you use a single color, you can take what is left, stick it right back in your jar, and use it again another time. So let's see, get this pulled up. See how we look. Oh! Now this is supposed to be distressed that way because it's the way that's what is on the transfer, because you can see the little distress marks here on the transfer. That's the way our transfer is, so it's not a mistake or anything. That's the way it's supposed to look. I'll get this one dried. And down on my drying towel. Not dried, get it clean, sorry. Get it on my drying towel. And get this second one back on its backer somewhat. There we go. Okay, let me go ahead and dry this so that I can move on to our flowers. Okay, now our flowers are in a 1 and 2 portion as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put these. This is supposed to, I think, fit in our little bucket here, but maybe I got it wrong. Huh. Let me see if I can find our catalog, because I'm not sure exactly how that is supposed to go in there. Let me see real quick, guys. Sorry about that, but I know this was in our spring summer catalog, so let me grab that. Okay, yeah, it's supposed to go in the little moped, and it's supposed to be trying to see how they have it. Sorry, guys. It would go looks like it goes this way. Let's see. I think I'm gonna do it. Do it this way. And I'll have to go that way. Okay, that'll be the way. All right, there we go. Now I'm going to do this layer in the yellow, and so that I can come back over with the green and do the leaves, because this is for the leaves actually. So I'll do this in yellow and then get the rest of it in green. Sorry about that. I thought I had this all planned out, so I wasn't being slow. Okay, so there we go. Sometimes you have a problem picking up your transfers because they do still stick to the board that you're working with. But we have in our brand new catalog, which went live yesterday, we have a new tool called a detail tool, which it has a poke part on one end and a flat end, kind of like our multi-tool, on the other end. So that will help if you can't get the transfer, can't get a hold of the transfer well, can't get it up, then you can use that poke tool. So grab my dryer and dry this. Is my second part, and get this to lay down right over these flowers for the leaves. And grab another stir stick. Okay. Ooh, there we go. I like that yellow and the green together. That looks really cute. Okay, we're almost done here. I'm going to give that one more dry just to get that good and dried, and then we'll get to our bottom words. Alright, now we'll get to our bottom portion here. That backer. Get this other paste out of the way. And again, just like we've done the rest, we're just going to fuzz that up a little bit. And we're going to get this right here, centered on the bottom. And grab some more of our white paste. This, get that up so it's not right on the edge of my cutting board here and making it wobble. Okay, so we're going to scrape off any excess. Put that right back in our jar. And there we go. Now, I am going to grab those little placement marks that I have there. I'm going to get those off. Not going to leave those on there. Get this down. Yes, Melissa, me too. I try not to get overly excited when, if you don't see Melissa's comment, she's saying how she's always in awe when she lifts the transfer and sees what it looks like. I am too, and I try not to get overly excited when I'm on my videos, but because I just want to go, ooh, ah. I mean, I just love the way it looks when it comes up. It's just so exciting to reveal something so pretty. Okay, so let me give this one more quick dry. Where I had, see, now all I did there was use a baby wipe and just pull those registration marks right off so nobody even knows that they're there. And here we have our Say Yes to Adventures, Let's Get Away little moped, which I think turned out kind of cute. So now what I want to do, I really kind of like that. Now it makes me want to get away. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I am going to move on to showing you something that I don't always show on camera, and that is the cleaning up. So we've got our project here that we finished, which is great. I'm going to set it aside just for a second and show you what I do when I clean my jars, because you do want to make sure that you clean your paste up really well and clean all your supplies, because you don't want to have your supplies just sitting around and being gunky. So, and yes, gunky is a word. It's my word, but anyway. So what I'll do is I'll take my stir sticks and I will get any paste that is on the edge of the rim here, which this is being so hot, your paste can dry out quickly. So you want to make sure that you don't do like I did and leave it open a long time. So, okay, so I'll take one stir stick, I'll clean it off the edge on each one of them. So the ones that I just used, I will take and I will clean off and try to wipe the stir stick down underneath. There's a little lip, and I want to just kind of wipe this excess off down there, and then I just set that aside. And you just want to make sure that you get everything as much as you can off of that rim. I'm going to do this with all of them real quick and then set my stir sticks aside. Now this white one's going to be a little bit different because it is a little bit more on the lumpy side. So I'm kind of just going to push this all in the middle and kind of push it down. That's what I'm going to do with it. There we go. We'll get now, have all those there. I'll clean those in just a second. So what I do next is I take my jar and I'll take a baby wipe. And I'm just going to go inside right here on the rim and just run it around the rim a couple of times to get off as much of that paste as I can get off, because I want the jar lid to seal really well and so these don't dry out. So what I'll do with this, set that aside, and since it is so warm now and everything, I am going to just put 1 or 2 little spritz of water in here, so hopefully when I open it next time and use it, it'll be hydrated and I won't have to add water then. So now I'll just take another baby wipe for each color paste and do the same thing for each color. Now I know this yellow is almost, the Bumblebee is almost empty, but there's still quite a bit of paste in there. You would be shocked at how much, just that, how many projects that will do. I'm still gonna add just 1 little squirt of water in it. Okay, now I didn't use this one very much, so I am gonna go ahead and just use it, fold it over and use another open area on it and get this. Now if you have a clumpy spot like that, you can use like your thumbnail or whatever and just make sure you get as much of it off as you possibly can, because you want these jar, the rim of the jar to be really nice and clean, like I said, so when you close it, it'll have a really good seal on it. Well, guess you can throw them instead of setting them aside. Okay, so just 2 more jars to go. And I usually just let this run around like a couple of times just to make sure that I have it as clean as I possibly can get it. Woo, see there, that's how it goes. If you hold it down too far, it just kind of goes on its own. Get that one done. I think I can still use this same one for the gray, the Greige. Alrighty, so that's how I clean my paste jars, just so that I have them all nice and put together and ready for the next time. So with my squeegees, I do the same thing. I just use a baby wipe and just wipe everything off, because our paste being water soluble and all, it comes off really easy with the baby wipe. So I just make sure I get these all good and clean. If for any reason I have any issue, you can put them in the sink. I have never used any kind of detergent or anything on them, never washed them with any kind of dish soap or whatever. I usually just make sure I get all my paste off using a baby wipe. And I do the exact same thing with my stir sticks. So I think I use more baby wipes now probably than I did when my kids were little and in diapers. But I know that's probably not true, but it sure does seem like it. So get all these cleaned off real good, because you don't want to put anything away messy or dirty. But just letting you know, this is how easy this project is and how easy it is to maintain all your pieces, all your tools. You don't have to have anything special. There's no special washing or anything that you have to do. and we do the same thing with our stir sticks. Just wipe those off. And you just want to make sure you have all the color off, so when you go to use your next one, or if you wanted to, you can, I mean, stir sticks are not all that expensive. You can buy more. One thing you do not want to do with the paste is you don't want to use popsicle sticks to stir our paste with. Popsicle sticks are made with wood, and so with that, the wood tends to soak up all the paste. So it soaks up all the moisture out of the paste, excuse me. That's what I meant to say. So you don't want to use popsicle sticks. You want to be sure and use something like our stir stick, or if you have like a makeup stir or something, but you don't want all the moisture to be taken out, because then all you'll have to do is just turn around and add more distilled water to it. So, okay, last one. We'll just use this one that I laid everything on. And now when I was cleaning my transfers, I was using just regular tap water to clean my transfers and our board eraser. Now, let me show you our board eraser. This is not how it looks when it's brand new. This is a very well loved board eraser. It does kind of take on the color of whatever paste you have, and so but it is still good. This is almost like a magic eraser, like a Mr. Clean magic eraser, but you don't want to use those because those have chemicals in them. These do not. You can use this, you just wet it and wipe it over your transfer. You can use it for your transfers or for your boards. But as you can see, it's very well loved. It's starting to kind of fall apart. I've had it for a while. But I'll use these till it disintegrates to almost nothing before I get another one. Then when I'm drying my transfers, I just lay them out on a microfiber towel. And once I lay them out, I let them dry a little bit with the sticky side down. Then I'll take the towel and I'll just kind of wipe over them. Wipe over the top of it. And you can see how sticky it gets once you wash it and you dry it. So then I'll put it right back on its backer so that I know I can put it back in its protective sheet cover, and it'll be ready to go for the next time. Just got to get this on the right way. Sometimes these things don't want to go on, so it can take a minute to get them on and get them on just the way you need them, so they're all nice and flat. So again, I have these three on this towel. I'm going to take my other towel, just kind of wipe them off. You just want to make sure you get all the water out of them. If you have the bigger ones, you can use the big 4-inch squeegee that we have and pull all the water out with that. But I usually just put them on a towel, on a microfiber towel, and wipe them off with another one, and they seem to work fine. You don't want to put them back on the backer when they're wet, so you try to make sure you have all the water out before you put them back on the backer. And then you just put them back on your backer and they're ready to go back in their protective sheets. I think this one goes. Once you cut them up, sometimes it's hard to tell which way you cut them, and take them off. There we go. All right, so I got this one here that I didn't actually get back on. I just kind of stuck it on there a little bit to make so that it didn't take up a whole lot of time when I was doing the project, and I think it goes this way. All right, there we go. Make sure it's down all nice and smooth. Oh no, I dropped a piece over here, but I will find that in a minute because it's down there underneath my table. So then you'll take all your pieces of your transfer, and you'll just want to store them back in your transfer your protective sheet that you have, your protective covering that you have that I opened up at the beginning. And yes, now, I mean, it's going to be really big, but I still keep these in here. You can store them in a big portfolio if you want to. You just don't want to stick them to anything that's like a cardstock or cardboard or anything like that. Hey, Tammy. You want to make sure that you have them on these backer sheets so that they will come off easily. So, okay, so there is that. Got a little bit of paste left there. All right, and here again is our finished project that we had. Say yes to adventures. Let's get away with our little moped. So there you go. And that shows you how to start to finish, how to get your transfers out, get them ready by labeling the backers, how to clean your paste jars. And I know I didn't show you exactly how to clean the actual transfer, but I will show you that maybe on the next video. I have showed before, but I will show it again on exactly what I do with the board eraser and the just regular tap water is all I do. And so there we go, guys. That's what we have for tonight for our project. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And if you would, please share my videos with friends and family and share the chalk love, and let me know if you need anything. Again, we do have a new catalog that just came out yesterday, and it is available online. There are a few items that have already sold out, but there are more replacements on the way. I mean, not replacements, but additional stock on the way. So those should hopefully be back in the next couple of weeks, whatever's out of stock right now. And if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I'd be glad to help you. Thanks for watching and hanging out with me. I will see y'all Saturday. Bye.